So, just like the last video on this channel, I wanted to go out there and talk about a few names. Some really interesting names in the Detroit Red Wings system. And you get a mellow Lego Rocks today because my voice, it's bad. I'm taking medicine, but things are a lot more nasally than they usually are. I think I got some gunk up in there that is just refusing to exit my sinuses. So it's really annoying, it's painful, and I need to get some rest and let my body work through it. But today, we got to talk about some Red Wings stuff, and I wanted to refer to Kevin Allen's Daily from Sunday, January 25th, to give us our topics, because Allen's got some pretty good scoops out here when it comes to Red Wings prospects, guys in the system, as well as one Marco Kasper, and how he's finally located his confidence. Let's go out there and read this article. It'll be linked in the description if you want to go out there and read it yourself. But the article opens up by talking about how the Red Wings earned 5 points out of 6 on their mini road trip. They're on pace for 106 points. If they reach that total, it'll be their best finish since 2008-2009, where they had accumulated 112 points and reached the Stanley Cup final. After Tuesday and Thursday home games against the Kings and the Capitals, the Red Wings will have completed more than 2/3 of the 25-26 season, and they are currently first in the Atlantic. The article says that Marco Kasper's offensive contributions are among the positives of the road trip. Contributing a goal and an assist in the Red Wings' 5-1 win against Winnipeg, Kasper owns 12 points on the season. Playing again on a line with Larkin and Raymond, Kasper has 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in his past 5 games. The Austrian forward is +7 with 13 shots on goal in those games. This comes after Kasper registered only 6 points in his previous 47 games. He is playing more like he did in the second half of last season. And that is absolutely the case here when you think about the way Kasper progressed from last season to this season. He was confident. He was hard-working. He was going out there digging pucks out of corners. Honestly, you could say the exact same thing about Marco Kasper for most of this year, except this year he just wasn't getting the offensive results. Yes, it sucks that he went so many games without getting a goal. He went so many games without getting a single point. But it can never be said that Marco Kasper was not working hard throughout any of these hockey contests. Yes, he was up and down in the lineup. He wasn't really with the same guys the entire time. Obviously, playing with Larkin and Raymond is going to improve your offensive production to some extent. But the fact that for a good chunk of last season we saw Kasper able to play with those guys and do well, it was already a really good sign that this guy had an optimistic NHL future. So to see him do that in last season's worth of play, only to get tossed around up and down this season, it was really great to see that his work ethic was still there, but also it was like, what else are you expecting out of this guy? He had 37 points last year. This year he is on pace for 19, and this pace would have been a lot lower if you excluded all of these points that he had gotten just recently. What is that, 6 points in 5 games here? If you remove that from the point production pace, he doubled his point production in the span of 5 games, when it took him 47 games to get to 6 points the first time. It obviously was not a model season for Marco Kasper, but now he's back on that first line. He's doing well. There are a lot of positives out of this game. He was always playing the right way, but only now are we starting to see the points come, and that is obviously the best case scenario. Now, let's shift gears over onto some other Red Wings names mentioned on this Detroit Hockey Now article. Let's go out there and read the Red Wings extra part that the writer here, Kevin Allen, provides with us. Detroit prospect goalie Trey Augustine of Michigan State posted 2 wins against Minnesota, 3-1 and 3-2, to raise his record to 17-5. He has won 8 of his last 9 starts. Augustine boasts a .173 goals against and a .938 save percentage. The South Line product has given up 2 or fewer goals in 17 of his starts, which is absolutely outstanding when you look at it. I mean, I get it, Michigan State is a really good team this year. Let's just take a look at the standings of how everything has shaped up. Where are they? Yeah, so they're third in the Big Ten, 9-2-2 in 14 games played. 9-2-2-1 in 14 games played, and their goals against number is the best in the Big Ten. So Trey Augustine has obviously been a really big part of that. 20-year-old, 6'1", 194, drafted by the Wings 3 years ago in 2023. He is now up to a .938 save percentage and a .173 goals against average. 22 total games played and 3 shutouts. If you head over to the NCAA in its entirety, you will see that Trey Augustine is second in the league, and the guy who was number 1 has half the amount of games played. I think it goes without saying, when you look at the overall body of work, Trey Augustine has been essentially the best goaltender in college hockey. And that's saying something when you consider the fact that NCAA hockey is a lot more competitive this year than it had been in any other year, it seems. We'd already spoken about this a few times when it comes to that Gavin McKenna conversation, but there are indeed new NCAA rules. Guys in professional leagues like the AHL are able to play in the NCAA. Major junior guys are coming over. They're able to play in the NCAA. There are so many new kinds of guys in this league compared to years past that the fact that Trey Augustine is still number 1 and still improving year over year is a very good sign. So there you go, Trey Augustine. There's the scoop as to what's been going on in his weekend. Let's talk about some more Red Wings guys. The article brings up Dylan James, who posted up 2 assists and scored the go-ahead goal in Nodak's 5-3 come-from-behind win at Arizona State. And then you also have Carter Bear, who has 26 points in his past 17 games for the Everett Silvertips. The edgy forward has 17 shots in his past 3 games in the WHL. 17 shots is, 6 shots a game? Just under 6 shots a game? Carter Bear is on pace for 66 points this year in 54 games played. Obviously, it's not as good as what he had done last year, but when you consider the injury, you consider the timeline that he took to come back, and him just trying to get his feet under him once more, it's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe the production itself is a little bit of a red flag, but I would beg to differ when you look at the quality of the teams that he has been on. Everett has a lot of other players that they are getting a good chunk of production from, so you can debate that that's kind of taken away some of the luster on Carter Bear and what he's capable of doing in this league, but still, he's gone out there with a whole bunch of points ever since returning from the World Juniors. He's been getting 8, 5, 4 shots on goal per game, and he's been really feeling it, so obviously that's a good sign for one of the Red Wings' most underrated prospects. And I say underrated because maybe the way he is playing right now isn't necessarily living up to the value he possesses. There's a lot to like out of Carter Bear. He's a buzzsaw. If you like Marco Kasper type players, Carter Bear does all that on the wing. He's like a Brandon Hagel type if everything works out well enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Carter Bear and his progression, Trey Augustine and what he has done in the NCAA, and also Marco Kasper and how he's been able to improve his scoring touch this NHL season? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.